So last week was amazing. It was Mastermind week for me. I get to do this 3 times a year. I have 2 mastermind groups, and they're absolutely amazing. So 3 times a year, we get together in person. And this time they came out to my hometown here in Durango, Colorado. And it was amazing. It was incredible. It was like the kind of weeks that just recharge you and get you ready to charge forward in your business and your life. That's what being around a group of just badasses who are there to support each other and you. That's what a true mastermind is. And I know it's sort of fashionable these days a lot of times, anytime someone's putting together a high-end offer, they just call it a mastermind. But if you go back and look at, say, what Napoleon Hill, who, as far as I know, he was the one that invented this term and wrote about it in Think and Grow Rich. And a mastermind is this idea of, it's a group of people. In Napoleon Hill's case, it was a group of imaginary people, but it's where a group of people come together to support one person or to support each other. And so think about being in a room with 30 or 40 other amazing online entrepreneurs who just have an incredibly vast array of skills, of individual skills and collective skills, and you bring a problem or an opportunity to them. You have something that you're struggling with or you just don't know how to take advantage of, and having all those brains collectively focused on helping you solve the problem, that's a mastermind. And I'm not even going to try to be humble. I think I've got the greatest mastermind in the industry. We're 13 years into it for one of my groups, and we're in our 4th year for the second group. I've run between these 2 groups, I've run 46 of these meetings, 2-day meetings, 46 of these. So I know a little bit about how to do it. If you look at the renewal rate of how people stay in the group, my renewal rate's up somewhere around 95% each year, which is just unheard of in the industry. So yeah, I'm just going to own it. I'm really, really amazing at selecting the right people for these groups, because it's very much a selection process. And then for just creating that culture of awesomeness, of mutual support. And it's so much fun to be in front of those rooms. It's amazing that I get paid to do it. And the interesting thing about this, when I started this back in 2010, when I started this group, and there are people that have been in it since 2010, absolutely ridiculous. Think about the level of connection and relationship over all these years we've developed. But when I started it out, it wasn't so much like I was looking for a high-end offer, high-ticket offer, looking to make money. I realized that with the way the market was advancing, even all those years ago, that for me to stay on the cutting edge, for me to stay ahead of the market in an incredibly competitive market, that it couldn't just be me by my lonesome. I needed a band. That's what I call it. I needed a band. I needed some people that I could play with, some people that I could work with, some people that I could create with. And so that's actually why I created my mastermind. And there's a lot of internet marketing teachers and trainers and gurus, and they come and go, but there are not many that have been around as long as I've been around, and that just have that longevity. And I really think the reason isn't just because I'm smarter than everyone, because there's certainly some amazingly smart people in this market, but I think it's because I have this ability to form these communities around me in my masterminds. And, frankly, it's like having a crystal ball. We're talking about stuff 3 months, 6 months, a year, 18 months before it really happens. If you look at what's changed in the online ad space in the last year or two, we saw that coming 18 months before it happened. We were talking about AI 18 months ago. So having that, the collection of incredible brain power, incredible entrepreneurial badassery, and having people show up in a mutually supportive way, incredibly powerful. So, I've talked about this before. If you don't have a mastermind, try to form one, and that's, I've been in masterminds since the early 90s, and then when it got to be around, that 2010 or so, I'm like, nah, you know what? I've been in a lot of them. A lot of them have come and gone. A lot of like free groups or self-administered groups, and they would they'd be good for a bit, and then they'd crumble and they'd fall apart, and no one was leading the show. So I'm like, I'm going to create my own group, and I'm going to create the perfect group for me. And it turns out it ended up being the perfect group for a lot of people. So I'm incredibly proud of my mastermind groups, but mostly I'm just really, really happy I got to spend the week with them last week. And this game, this entrepreneurial game, can be a lonely one. As your business grows, as your stature grows, as your results grow, it can become increasingly lonely. That's the deal. It's like being an entrepreneur is great, all the freedom, all the security, all the impact, that's all great, but the more successful you become, the fewer peers you have. And a lot of times those peers are competitors. And so the ability to get around other people in a mutually supportive way is the way that you stay in this game for a long time. So yeah, it's we have a saying in both groups. We have a saying that it's good to be us. It's good to be us, and just really grateful for that. So every now and then we have an opening come up in one of our groups, and these are not for beginners. The one group, you really have to have a business in that $300,000 to $400,000 range to qualify. The other group, you really need to be sort of in that $2 to $3 million, up to the $20 or $30 million range. So these groups aren't for noobs. I have other programs for that. I have other trainings and teachings for that. But yeah, if you're at that kind of level and you're interested, then leave a comment or DM me or reach out in one way or the other. I'd love to hear from you, because we've always got a waiting list going for these groups. So I'm Jeff Walker. Wherever you're watching this, scroll down, leave a comment for me, and let's go get them this week.